It is a massive day for Oklahoma women's basketball. Cade Kennedy here with you alongside Tyler Riggs. Tyler, I did not expect to make this video today. Number one, battling through the illness. I apologize for my voice. It's not going to sound the best today, but we had to get a video out because of the big news. Aaliyah Chavez joining Oklahoma, the number one recruit in the class. And Tyler, this is something that doesn't happen to Oklahoma basketball often, whether it be the men's side, whether it be the women's side. 5'11" point guard from Lubbock, Texas, made her decision this afternoon. And the quote here on the ESPN article, I think, really just says what this Oklahoma team is going to become. They match how I want to play. I want to play fast. If you've watched Oklahoma at all this year or any time under Jenny Baranczyk, that's what Oklahoma wants to do. They are a fast-moving team. They're a great shooting team. They are a team that there's a reason why they're in the Sweet 16 for the first time in 12 years.
Yeah, Coach Ronchek's done a really fantastic job, and we've seen it kind of build, over the last couple of years and really start to turn of all the coaches outside of Patty Gasso and maybe Skip Johnson when it comes to softball baseball that felt like they were SEC ready. Coach Bronchek obviously has done a fantastic job of making sure that her program was SEC ready, and that's how you get to this point where you get the top player. You know build up something that's attractive and in terms of the play style. We know nowadays, Cade, with these kids, a lot of the time is, hey, how does this program fit me? Right? That's something that applies now, applied back in the day for the most part, but especially nowadays, kids want to go where they feel they're going to be maximized. And Coach Baranczyk, to her credit, did a great job of making sure that Chavez
Well, we lost you there for a moment.
was comfortable with that, and you wind up in this very, very good position. So, anyways, I was saying, long and short of it is Coach Baranczyk, all the credit to her for being able to build this up to this point and given Chavez a chance to feel comfortable walking into the situation.
Absolutely. I mean, Chavez, she had the option, of course, not only Oklahoma, Texas Tech was in there, South Carolina was in there. Highly recruited player, of course. That's what happens when you're the best player in a recruiting class. It's kind of a no-duh moment there. But I think this just kind of shows where Oklahoma is. And we've done these kind of OU-centric videos on the football side where we've been kind of down this year. But for once, it's nice to look at the women's side is perfectly fine. Like, the women's side is great. Softball, of course, needs no explanation. Women's gymnastics doesn't really need an explanation. They're continuing to do what they do. But that final piece of the puzzle was women's basketball, which was not in a bad place. I don't want to lead anyone astray there. Obviously, you could see, multiple years of making the second round. That's not a sign of a bad program at all. But I think when you get someone like this, you have the potential to really build the program around them. You have that potential of, you look at what a Caitlin Clark did. You look at what Paige Beckers is doing at UConn, Juju Watkins at USC, even Cameron Booker at Texas. When you have that player that can be marketed, that can be the face of the program for multiple years, that plays a huge difference. And if this works out well, which I think it will, Oklahoma has a potential to get back to where they were in the late 2000s. If you remember the Paris sisters, the 09 Final Four, going back in 2010. That was really that peak of Oklahoma women's basketball. Had the Final Four earlier on in 2002 as well, but that was that peak time when Sherry Cole really had everything going, and I think this is that final big piece back in that direction.
Yeah, I think so. The program's going to feel like that. And on, top of Chavez, you got a girl like Keziah Lofton coming in, who I've gotten to see up close being at Bethany. She's had a great career there. Got to see her a few times in person. Fantastic player. And so you pair players like that together on top of what they're bringing back. Reagan Beers, Peyton Verhulst, like, it's going to be a star-studded lineup for this OU team. One that, as you're illustrating, you haven't had in quite a while.
Absolutely. I mean, we can talk about the future a little bit in a moment, but I want to look at what happened on Monday. Oklahoma taking down Iowa 96-62. I want to talk about this for a few reasons. Number one, first Sweet 16 appearance in 12 years. Anytime you get something like that, always a big deal. But I think more importantly is not just that Oklahoma won this game, but how they did it. I mean, it was a it was a game for about 5 minutes, and that was it. Oklahoma just, I mean, you could say back and forth for the first half if you want to, but once Oklahoma got that lead at the end of the first quarter, with the big crowd they had, 8,000 people there for the women's basketball game at the LNC. You don't get those type of crowds often for women's basketball at Oklahoma. It's something that you just do not see a lot of, but really everyone having an impact. Reagan Beers, of course, only had 11 points in the game. She had 11 points, 13 rebounds. She was productive out there, but was only 2 for 6 from the floor. This was a Skylar Vance showed up. Sahara Williams was there. Peyton Verhulst. Everyone who needed to play their part did. Liz Scott, Zia Van off the bench. This is an Oklahoma team that has all their pieces rolling at the right time.
Yeah, it is. And, you go back to talking about being SEC ready, quote unquote. That's where this comes in. When you get to the tournament time, you see a lot of tough teams. And obviously, you're still going to have some tough battles should you want to get past the Sweet 16. But just to get to this point, kind of really ties into how, like we're talking about, you're building. You're continuing to grow. You're continuing to be that team that makes waves. For good reason. So it's neat to see. You hope it lasts long, but it's kind of also one of those deals where now, due to the news today, no matter what, you're going to feel good about going forward. So that makes it nice as well.
Yeah, and that's the scary part too, I think. OU 96 points, only shot 32% from 3, 70% from the free throw line. They did not have a great shooting day, and they still scored 96 points. That's incredible.
Yeah, it is. When it goes back to the pace, that we were talking about, just the way they've been able to build this team into something that's really, really fun to watch um, when it comes to that. So I just, big things ahead, really, whether it be this tournament or going forward. And this is the makings of, a team that you get a top player like that. Now we haven't even talked about the impact of the transfer portal. All of a sudden it probably becomes a lot easier to recruit in the transfer portal this offseason.
I would think it would. And I mean, just pulling the roster up here, and we already went through a little bit of this, but keep in mind, Reagan Beers, only a junior. Peyton Verhulst can come back next year if she wants to and use that 5th year. Sahara Williams, only a sophomore. Zia Van, a freshman still. I mean, you have multiple pieces that are going to continue to get better. You give Chavez a year to play with them. That's a heck of a group to have as a freshman to, okay, this is my introductory year, and we're still going to be an insanely talented team. You think about what she's going to be when she's a junior, when she's a senior, when you have, people from the portal, if they want to come to Oklahoma to team up. You kind of see that now in some places in college basketball where the future is bright. And that's weird to say that, the season's still going on. We're talking about it like everything's over and done with. The future is bright, and it's still a great team this year.
Yeah, it is. And that's what's going to make it so enjoyable going forward. So uh, I mean, we get to watch Oklahoma City Thunder, being at Oklahoma. I know you're a Mavs fan. We won't touch on that in this video,
This,
but
yeah, this is not an NBA video.
it's going to remind you of some of that depth. Like the depth they're going to have on this team is just going to be absolutely incredible. You hope next year.
It absolutely is. But folks, as always, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to hit that like button, especially if you made it all the way through. If you made it through, we hope you enjoyed the video, certainly. Feel free to hit the subscribe button as well and the notification bell to always be notified when new videos come out. We haven't done one of these OU videos in a while, OU centric. If they get good views again, good comments, feel free to leave a comment down below. Of course, anything you think we missed or anything you just want to add or just want to put a boomer sooner in the comments, we'll always appreciate that. But folks, until next time, have a good one, everybody.